The alarm's going off, man. Stop hitting snooze. I need you. If you're looking to feel like warm and fuzzy inside, like I'm your guy. So they're in my top 20 EHL teams for sure. There's emotion, there's hatred. This is not like a very friendly series. It's like SpongeBob when he's got like the napkin and like the potato chip. Like that's how I feel. Listen, Colson, I didn't have fun. Everything in my body hurts right now. The team that has the lead in the second period is just not going to win that game. There's no need for air quotes. He's tardy all the time. It's the American thing to do. I was alive, just not very. No, don't get pucks deep. Hang on to the puck. Pass the puck. Shoot the puck. Are we live? Are we live? We're having a good time. JKP, baby. JKP.
Hello and welcome into the off-season edition of the E-Show podcast, where we're going to sit down and talk to every coach across the EHL at the EHL level. And first up is the double champion, head coach of the New Jersey 87s, Adam Houli, who just rang in the beginning of the offseason with two different sets of rings for the EHLP and EHL champion New Jersey 87s. Coach Houli, man, I don't know what to say to you besides congratulations, man. This has got to be an unreal offseason you're kicking off here.
Yeah, obviously, great to be on and super excited. And like you said, obviously, still kind of in that moment of enjoying what our organization was able to do at the end. It was a long year. I thought just super exciting to be part of everything and then to come out on top on both sides of it. Again, you couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, and I know that was a goal that you've had actually for a little bit, is to win at both levels in the same year and make that history. So is it set? Has it set in yet? Like, do you when you look back on that moment, are you able to separate yourself from that excitement and really just realize what you guys accomplished throughout the year?
Yeah, I think it's getting closer to setting in, as I watch the videos, as I kind of sit back and see those things, it allows me to really embrace what we did. I'm still exhausted. I'm still tired. And we're probably 3-4 weeks from it now. So I'm just exhausted from the season, but that exhaustion is a welcomed exhaustion, right? It's truly, our club did an awesome job, and everyone, our staff, our social media, our rink, everybody was in part why we were successful. And being able to sit back and come back to the rink and say you won at both levels, the rink was ecstatic. The people around here were ecstatic. Everything was. I was out to dinner one night and someone came up to me and asked me if we were the 87s. Now, again, connection was pretty close to home, but to feel that and then tell me congratulations out to eat with my family was pretty cool feeling as well. So I just excited, exhausted still, but enjoying every moment I can.
And when can we expect to see those rings on some fingers, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, they're in. They're ordered. They're ready to go. We're excited about them every year. I get excited to do them. I put a lot of detail and thought process into the ring because it is something you're going to have hopefully for the rest of your life. And to me, that's meaningful. It's not just get a ring. So I told my guys at the beginning of the year, my goal, you become addicted to getting to that point and winning. And now for me, it was super exciting to tell them, hey, give me a chance to design a ring, right? We talked about it in the locker room. It was pretty fun. Give me a chance to get to this ring. Let me get a ring for you guys. And when Premier did it, it was awesome. I knew it was coming at least at one end. And then obviously when the EHL was able to capitulate on Sunday, coming up with both, certainly not going to help the budget, but a welcomed price tag as Maddie would allow me to go all out for our guys. So, and that's what we did. So I think the guys are going to enjoy it. Hopefully they're here probably mid-July, early August. And certainly you guys will see them on my finger, as I get to the showcase and things like that.
Definitely. Well, winning isn't cheap, but it's way better than the alternative, I think.
Yes, it is. It is. Definitely.
And for both to end in overtime, you mentioned the exhaustion. Obviously, looking back, it's definitely stressful in the moment. But, what's going through your head as a coach, knowing that your control is only so much as, both teams are one goal away from winning the championship at any given point?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tricky part of it, right? The OT and certainly for Premier on Saturday, you're a little bit more controlled mindset, right? You have one game, you played, you battle back in this game. If it doesn't come out on your end, you trust that you've got them where you need them anyway. They're going to put a lot of effort into playing for their season. So a little bit more composed in that sense. But every chance that went by in that overtime, you're like, just missed that. And that's a championship goal. It's not just a, move on to the next day goal. That's a championship goal. So, and then as I got closer and closer and a little bit, shift by shift, you're like, let's get this thing over with. Let's get it over with. We're here. Let's make sure we get one. That was a jubilation when that went in. And that team had earned it. That team was, they worked hard all year. They competed with the EHL guys in practice. They were at times kind of almost test dummies for us at the EHL level. And they earned it. They have a great following, and their parents were phenomenal humans. So that group really came together as a group to have that. And then, Sunday in the EHL, I don't know if I can describe the emotion there. I don't know if I can describe the feeling of getting that game to overtime, and then in overtime knowing the next goal is going to be either an absolute joyous moment or an absolute crusher because you're so close. That's the only way I can describe it. That moment of time, knowing that one goal your way, you're going crazy, and a goal the other way, you're really upset. You're down. So living on the edge there. I mean, I don't think I ate for days after that because I had no appetite. I think my body used every ounce of energy through those 2 days. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And to do it in overtime, obviously that's what you play as a kid, right? I mean, I know it sounds corny coming from us here at this level, but frankly, I will always say it. I'll say it to Hudson when we're playing. He'll talk about it. He doesn't, play mini hockey as pros. He plays mini hockey as the 87s, the Avalanche, the Wolves, the Wizards, right? He'll be those teams when we play, and he'll always say, now we're going to overtime, and then he'll go crazy. So just building that memory and having that it's priceless.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Hudson in a little bit, but you do mention living on the edge, and your EHL team lost game ones at both college venues against both Providence and then the New Hampshire Avalanche after that. So how difficult, if difficult at all, was it for that group to stay the course on the mental side of things, being down, at such a crucial point of the season?
Yeah, I think the effort in those losses allowed us to remain confident. I really liked our game in every loss we had from both teams, Premier, in the one series. But at the EHL level, I really enjoyed the way we played. I thought we were deserving of the win. Analytically, we were deserving of the win. So really, it was just about building them up the next day, saying, "Hey, we did everything we can, and this is why the game is one of the best things on earth, right? This is what can happen." So I think playing well in those games allowed us to remain confident. And knowing one bounce will go our way if we continue to go at it. So I think for us, we were just resilient all year in subtle ways, very, really resilient in everything we did. So going down, that was everything. I mean, I think it started with the PHC series, right, and trying to get to the regional finals and playing really well, but all of a sudden now you're fighting for your life, and the pressure from us feeling like we need to get there, and Adam and his group played phenomenal, but kind of playing with that underdog card. So really they had nothing to lose. But our guys kind of rose over that pressure, which was awesome. So I think just started there, and then all of a sudden the belief became real, right? It just, you were able to believe we can do this thing. We can do this thing. So going down really didn't matter. It was a matter of, how quickly we can get up the next day and be resilient.
Yeah, I think resilience is definitely a big theme for your team throughout the season. And obviously that path led you to the Avs, which was playing against or coaching against a really close friend of yours in Chris Sorella. And I know you guys both mentioned how that was kind of hard to ignore throughout the process of those 3 days. So how are the communications with him, before, during, and now, in the aftermath of that? I know he's obviously extremely happy for you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, listen, he's one of my closest friends I have. So we talk every day. We talk multiple times a day. When the season's going, we talk every day on the way to the rink, checking in. We talk about the hopefulness to get there, but I don't think either of us understood the mental toughness it was going to take to play each other. We obviously, again, I root for him when they're going, and I'm pretty hopeful he roots for me on my end. So when we got there together, everything remained the same. We were up, we were talking, asking what time you're getting in the night before. Let's go get a bite to eat. Let's get a drink. Let's do our usual, because we get to see each other a few times a year. So let's embrace that. And then when they won, right, we kind of, we respected the process. I think we both kind of went through our emotions, went through our stuff with the staff, but every night ended up with meeting each other, coming together, talking a little bit, catching up, and wishing each other best of luck the next day. And then when we were able to force game 3, it was the same thing. Right now, we both know this is it, right? One of us is going to walk out of here with a championship. The other one's going to be devastated. But the routine stayed the same. We respected it. We came together at night. We caught up. He's very close to my family. My family was up there. He had his girls up there. He had his son up there. So we both were able to kind of go through the normal stuff as if we weren't playing for anything. And then, again, I said it, I've been very vocal about it. When we won, I couldn't be more happy for our guys, our program, and vice versa. But I also was devastated at heart because I know how hard he works and how much effort he's put into this thing over the years. So I knew the devastation on his mind, what it was going to be. And as a friend, someone that's here, you feel like you can trust your family with, to know they're going to go through those emotions. It was tough. It was really tough for me. And we embraced a few times on the ice, and it was that. And then coming out of it, you would expect to take some time, but we didn't. We spoke the next day, and then continued to speak the next day and next day. And listen, there's things we definitely both disagree on that went on in that series, but ultimately, I know he's happy for me, and he sent me, a really nice message when he left the rink that night, and it would have been the same thing I did to him. Completely respectable, and but never easy going against that. That was truly a very difficult thing from my coaching standpoint to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure it was maybe a unique experience for you too, coaching against someone that close to you. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I mean, it is 100% correct. Again, it's the back and forth of it, right? And then it's like, you look at him like he's a brother to me, right? So growing up, you're battling your brother, right? You want to be better. You try to catch him here. He responds with this here. So it was fun. I mean, again, the hockey was so good. It was fun. It was fun in that environment to go against him because I know what he brings to the table. I know the respect his name has. So part of me wanted to be able to say, hey, I want to be in that same category as him. I'm not there, not going to be there for a long time, but heck, it was really fun to put my name up against his and see what I can do. But then the reality hits, and I know, when he's got to go to face his team, when he's got that time in the car alone, I know the emotions I would run through, and I know that's difficult to be. So, never easy.
Yeah, and you guys are both up there in wins and commitments every year, so it's rewarding to see you both in that situation at the end of the season, regardless of who came out on top. But you do mention your family was there, and there were a lot of happy tears between everybody, players, coaches, everybody was pretty joyful in that moment. But I think the best was seeing you and Hudson embrace with the players surrounding you guys. So how incredible was it for you as a father to watch him experience those moments? And obviously, I mean, the way the players just bring him into the fold is also incredible, if you can touch on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's completely the enjoyment of being a father figure, right? Seeing your son enjoy this moment, seeing, I had Jake there the night before as well. He came in from school to come watch, but to have Hudson be so ingrained into our teams, literally he lives and dies with these teams. He'll talk to me at night about who I expect, who am I starting, why am I not going with that guy, and vice versa. And then for him to be a part of it, and see him just see the reactions from your son. I mean, it's priceless. You can't, I can get emotional right now talking about it because it's just like, that's what it's all about at the end. Being with people that you love and seeing the joy. I mean, even my wife, seeing the joy in her face. My mom and dad were there. It brought it back to the days of playing. They never missed a game. They didn't miss a game in playoffs. They were there for everything. Everybody's parent that was there, just so happy. And I remember him asking me, Hudson, in the hallway, he couldn't stop crying. He said, Dad, why am I keep crying? Why do I keep crying? I go, because those are happy tears. You're going to learn about those, hopefully. And he was just so joyous. So I just can't thank my team enough for taking him in. Listen, he's close with Chris's team. He's close with Chris. He just loves hockey. He loves this league, and he loves being around it. But to share the moment of a championship, when we did it a couple years ago, he was young. Who knows if he remembers it, right? But this time, I know he's going to remember it. I know he's going to remember lifting it up. I know he's going to remember the guys looking for him. Where's Hudson? Where's Hudson? He feels a part of that. And as a father figure, that's all you can ask for. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what makes you a happy man, right? So truly special to experience that with my family and my friends and things like that. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, I think that was just incredible to witness them lifting him up and, handing the trophy off to him and all the pictures with him right, front and center. And that was pretty incredible. But we're going to shift a little to the hockey side of things and focus a moment on the EHLP team, a team that it seemed like was built from the back end out with how strong they played down the stretch, that D-core, and against the best offense in the league, and then the second best offense in the league between both Adirondack and New England. Then do you think that aspect of their game became most noticeable in the postseason?
Yeah, but it definitely did, and I think for us that was the hidden expectation, right? That back end. I mean, those were the guys that were consistently on the ice with the EHL throughout the year, practicing, knocking on the door to get into EHL games, and frankly, they could have stepped up at any moment. Again, going back to the regular season in that December showcase, we had guys called up, and our defenseman was called up and played in one of the biggest games of the year to that point. So for us, we knew that was our backbone. We know that D drives everything. So we were excited to kind of showcase that at another level. And that group, again, they were special. They all had exactly what you needed. They had playmakers, they had skill guys, they had guys who could skate, they had bodies to block shots. So it was a really nice contingent group that knew we can play into our identity and we're going to be okay. And that was really kind of the back end's mantra all year. And then even in playoffs, where I kind of sat back there with those guys. Hey, just play to yourself, play to ourselves. We're built for this thing. We got a good skater in each pair. We got a good skill guy in each pair. We got a guy that we know will take a body or take a hit to make a play. So that was a really good collection of players that were awesome compliments. If it was a video game, their chemistry would have been +5s all over, right? That was the unique thing about that back end, that I always look back and say that was a really good compliment of each other.
Yeah, 100%. And I know one of those guys, Alec Osher, he's going to be moving on with a couple of other guys onto playing club, all three of them together. So what does it say when you have guys that want to move on together after juniors when they have that option?
Yeah, listen, and that wasn't necessarily the plan for an Osher or an O'Brien who are going to go together. They kind of wanted to finish it out, but then I think they realized as they're playing, they're not ready to give this thing up. And both probably could have played EHL, but both wanted to be in that situation at the premier level, playing for something above, right? And not taking away. And look at the selfishness that they had, that they could have been offered EHL and played EHL, but they knew they didn't want to take away from others, right? They knew who they were, they knew what they wanted to do. And they explored that, and now they're, again, they're both going to school, and I don't think both would have thought that in September. But both consistently did everything, and now they're going to play at a great program and are going to allow us to continue to, recruit local guys and say, hey, there is an opportunity to play at a high level. And look what these guys did. I mean, they were fantastic in what they were doing. So awesome to see Ocean be able to do that. And again, he was a leader on that team. Where he's going to be a piece we miss next year on that side.
No doubt about that. He was unbelievable and physically imposing too, as were a lot of those guys on the blue line. And I know you have plans to move guys up like you do every year, but you've mentioned a lot that you believe the EHLP is an underrated league, and you guys are one of the pinnacle organizations in terms of elevating guys, moving them up, and eventually making them college hockey players. So what do you guys focus on specifically to ensure that guys that are maybe younger or even an 05 like this year playing at the EHLP level is going to be prepared for college hockey when that time comes?
It's the immediate factor is trusting us right away. I think any successful program in our league at the premier level with an EHL would tell you the most success they get out of a guy is a guy who believes them right from the start and says, you tell me where I need to be and what I need to do to get to that next level. And that's what we look for. That's what we talk to our team about. And that team, again, has done the same thing. A couple of those guys have played 2 years at the premier level. Will get a chance to move up. And again, you look at the flip side of that, even on the Avalanche side, all their top guys have played premier. Like that's a fantastic stat that we should be on top of the roof screaming at. And I am. That's something we talk about all the time. And that's going to continue in our program. And I tell the recruits when I talk to them at the premier level, if you believe me, if you believe what we're going to do for you, I'm telling you that when you get to our EHL level, you're going to have an opportunity to commit, right? Look at Brandish, played 1 full year of premier, right? Trusted us. His brother was a champion for us. Never asked why can't I do that right now? Knew it was going to take a year of development to understand how we are and to give him the best opportunity to succeed, right? You might be capable of playing the EHL, but do you want to be in that role where you're not exploring who you really are, right? So go continue to hone that at the premier level so that when your opportunity arises, you can be that player, and that's a player that's committable. That's a player that can play at the NCAA level. Brandish is a perfect example of that, right? Puck-moving defenseman can be all offensive. We had that already at the EHL when he first got here, and he knew that. He was okay with that. Okay, let me go hone in on my defensive game, right? So when the EHL does call, I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be myself. So that's what I think we look for in a premier is really, does the kid understand who he is, what he wants to be? Does parents understand that? Because again, at the end of the day, if you're in our league to play at the next level, why wouldn't you get in the front door as soon as possible? That's the thing I always say. Get in the front door right now. Our premier team is who we look at first. It's our first call up. It's our first go-to. It's really important for us to have that.
Well said, and I think I'm so glad you brought up the whole Avalanche situation. When you look at the final four teams, I know it's the first year for EHLP for Providence, but they had a ton of players who shared time at both levels this season. The Express had 6 full-time call-ups from last year. Like you said with the Avalanche, all their top guys. So when the final four teams in the league have a huge bread and butter build of the Premier, I think that's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you just said it, right? Look at those final four teams at the Frozen Finals in Providence. Every one of them has a premier team. Every one of them has had guys go up to the next level and be successful. There's no faking that. There's no making that up. And that's what we tell guys. And listen, there's those who are going to believe it and be successful, and there's those who are not going to believe it and not be successful. And that's okay. That's part of life, is sometimes making the wrong decision. But as a hockey player, I would be strongly looking at finding the right fit for myself. And I think in a lot of cases for players, playing at the premier level for a year is really important to your development at EHL and then NCAA. Again, it's everything. Look at that. Like you said, look at the Frozen Finals. Look before that, like you said, the Express had 6 guys, full-time guys up, and then they won the league that year, right? So to me, I can sit there and I can debate it. I don't think Fox News or CNN are going to ever call us on against other leagues and talk about the premier. But if they did, I'd certainly think that the polls would show we did really well in that, because it's very simple to talk about facts, very simple to say, here are the steps, follow them, and you're going to give yourself an opportunity to play college hockey.
100%. Really well said, man. And I think we appreciate that at a time where, junior hockey is so shifting, and we want more guys to have more faith in our coaches and what they do. And when elevation happens every year and then more elevation to the college level, it's just the proof is in the pudding. And to shift that focus towards the EHL level now in that final series, all eyes are on Alexander Legkov. He scored a pretty goal in game 1, but after that, no points for Leggy, which was kind of crazy. He still played great, still pushed the pace, everything you'd expect him to do. But was it cool for you to see some more unsung guys like a Mulholland come up in a big moment for his first?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no doubt we're there because of Leggy and there because of Landon and those guys in that first line. But rightfully so, they weren't going to walk in to play a coach in Sorella and not be game plan for it, right? So it was going to be hard. It was a matter of were they going to be able to rally the bench, and they were very vocal on the bench about, guys, keep going. We're going to try. So it was awesome. And even in that goal in the championship game, listen, that's a poor play on Leggy, and he knew it as soon as he got back. He left that cage wide open. He tried to jump something less than a minute to go. And he was very vocal in the locker room about, that's on me. I'm going to find a way to get us back. And the guys believed it, right? And it wasn't necessarily him, but when you have a guy who's gone through it for you, vocalizing that, it rallies you. Why wouldn't you want to go, hey, I got this one for you. You've done this for me. I got this one for you. And again, Troy is a perfect example of someone who came in, did everything that we asked for, and then gets rewarded. And again, in the goal to do that was great. Again, I go with that. That whole play was phenomenal. Danny had played maybe 2 shifts up to that point in the third period. And I just had a feeling, all right, I need something here, an offensive spark here. And he made a great toe play there, and I'm sure Gerard knows it. He held him on the shot and then kicked it over, and that put a lot of pressure, and Troy buried it, and those guys went ecstatic. So it was really cool to see the depth guys. But again, I say depth to our team. They'd be very good players anywhere else, but they believed in the depth was okay to be referred to as a depth player. And for us, that was everything. So to see those guys get rewarded, and to see the top guys be able to take a deep breath and realize they did it and it wasn't completely on them or their fault if we didn't do it, I'm sure that made them feel really, really well respected in that room, because guys knew you got us here. We're going to get you over the top. And that's what it was. That team was so close. There is nothing that team wasn't going to be able to do at any given point.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, another guy who scored a 3-on-2 goal to come up big was Nate McFarland, championship game winner. I don't make him much bigger than that, but he was part of a platoon of guys that you brought in the second half of the season. And how much did those guys add to what you were already building throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, again, as a coach, you got to be very mindful of making the right moves at the right time. And we were decimated with a lot of injuries. Guys had to call it a day with their injuries. They lost out on an ankle injury and an ACL injury. So we were beat up throughout the year. but the team kept allowing me to make the right decision. And obviously those guys I had an eye on, knowing their situations, knowing they're going to feel frustrated with their year in the whole. So I knew I was going to get a motivated players coming from that area. And Nate's the same thing. Like when Nate first got to us, he was given a lot. He was in our top six. He was playing. Then he got banged up. And then when he returned, he had to find a role in a bottom six role, knowing he could be a top six, but to get him in the game right now, he needed to be that. And there wasn't a sound, there wasn't a question. He was grateful to be in the lineup. He jumped in every moment he could have. So for him to kind of put it over the top, certainly well deserved. And for the guys to see that, and that's it. Nobody ever complained on this team. Everyone was, here's our job, here are my orders, I'm going out to do it. And Nate was a perfect example of that. To fight through the year he had, fight through some injuries, to come back in a different role, and still have that moment. I mean, it's storybook, right? That's why you write stories. Like that's the kind of stuff that you get excited for. So awesome to see. And again, the guys, you can see it in their faces in the videos, right? They were ecstatic for him, going nuts. He didn't even get a chance to get by the bench before he got mobbed, right? That was it. He had like a quick 2 seconds, and that was it. We were mobbing you, and this was a full team.
Definitely. And it's just, it just plays to that theme of resilience. And when you think about it, I know we even joked about it way back when at the October showcase, just the one goal. Remember, it was eating you a little bit, but now I think we're able to look on it with a lot more of a smile. Your team, they probably outplayed every other team at that showcase though.
Yep.
But
yeah.
So what good habits did you see early on, even though the goals were not coming the way they did in the second half?
Just the consistency in our play, to understand that they were going to do what was asked, and my job now, if we don't have the goal scoring there, was to go find it. But also knowing it worked the way we had worked, right? We knew Atlanta was going to take a chance at this. Again, I knew Leggy was going to be available. It was a matter of making sure we can get everything situated we wanted to and get him here. So in knowing that, being able to prepare through training camp and get to that first showcase, and really see them adapt to what we needed to ask. I knew the help was going to be coming, but ultimately it was just seeing how fast that we could play, the pace at where we could play at. That was really important for us to walk away out of those games. You only score one goal but don't play well. That's probably even more hurtful. Walking away, almost scoring one but playing really well, it was hurting to me because I wanted guys to get talked to, because sometimes schools will look at too much of the stats and not how well you just played. So that part hurt me a little bit, but ultimately there was so much good in that game that it was a no-brainer in what we did, and getting prepared for that and seeing what we could be as a team, especially when we put every the pieces together.
Yeah. I mean, obviously nothing more noticeable than how it all ended. But as far as returners go, you expect to have a good crop, including, some key pieces in goal. Obviously, Flo hopefully going to be tending that yet again for you as just like an 05. So how much do you expect that returning group to help transfer this year's culture over to the next?
I think the biggest thing is them seeing and believing it, and being able to now to carry that to the next crop, right? And saying, hey, listen, this is where we can be. There's no doubt the targets can be pretty big on our back, right? We don't hide behind anything. We are very promotable in what we say, the 87 way, and you either love it or you hate it, but it is the 87 way. So guys are going to be licking their chops to play us, and we have to be aware of that. We have to be on top of our game. But having guys gone through the playoff we went to, it wasn't like we swept through the playoffs and it was expected. We went through the ups and downs of it. And again, I don't think we were the expected team going into playoffs, right? I think there were some good guys there. But I think being able to relay those messages, that experience, and the guys that we have coming back being 200-foot players, and seeing how important that is to the end game. Maybe it's not the first part of it, but the end game, when playoffs really matter, having to hone in on those habits that they can translate to the next group, that's going to be everything for us. And it's going to start with those guys from the back end all the way through. And the next part is finding that next team's identity to see what they can do. And the pressure is going to be there, right? The bar is set. There's no doubt about that guys are going to be coming after us to knock us off, and rightfully so. The target's going to be big, and again, as you know, I'm a big player of using whatever we can to be motivational. So the target's big, and again, we welcome that target. We're gonna be ready to go.
And just a hint, I know some extra teams maybe outside the division will be getting to play the 87s this season. So I know that's something we're both excited about, but more on that to come on the EHL socials. But finally, Coach Houli, when you think about these two groups and, obviously the support they had for each other in the building at Providence, but all throughout the season, the pictures they were posting together, groups together in the gym, that kind of stuff. What stands out most to you about the family element of these two teams from this season?
I think it's just they truly cared about each other. They truly were a team, and it's so cliche to say, but they truly were such a team together. We didn't do, and nothing against it, we didn't do team bowling, we didn't do team paintball, we didn't do team movie night. We didn't do any of that because the guys around each other so much. It forces you to get to know your teammate. It forces you to be with that teammate through his ups and downs. Did he break up with the girlfriend back home? Are the coaching staff riding him, right? Is he struggling because no schools are talking to you? The guys experience that as young men together. It's going to force you to become close, right? And to me, that's what this team did. They forced each other in a way to become family. And again, like we talked about, Premier supporting EHL, EHL supporting Premier. It felt like I had a gigantic extended family at Providence, right? It felt like they were all the parents felt like my aunts and uncles, to be honest. It was crazy. Just feeling the support, anything I needed, they would do. I could leave Hudson in the hallway of the lobby and he had 13 moms watching him, right? Like that's nothing to take lightly and see. And the guys, if they needed anything, Gatorades, they'd be on it in a heartbeat. So I think just the team itself, I put it in my post and I just said, this was a team. This was a definition of, we need to get here as a team. And I point to a time at the December showcase, Ian Moran, we played the Eagles in the last game of the last day. And he had come up to me and exchanged some nice words. And he had told me, he's like, you guys are going to take this. You guys you're going to win this whole thing. And at the time, you were happy to hear that a guy like that is telling you that. I felt very positive about it. But it just felt like he saw the same thing. He saw the way we were able to play. He saw the care in our game, and it just made sense to us. It just made sense. It all came together in the right way. And again, to me, the biggest thing I'll stick out is this was a team. This was a team that was built to win, a team that was built to win in the playoffs with high-end players, with middle-of-the-road players, with new rookies coming in. Listen, I wish we had a documentary on us because you would have seen Troy Mulholland growing into his role, right? And Danny Cardozo coming in and being a veteran, and just all these guys had different stories all come together as a group. It felt like this was a team, and it was so relieving that they got rewarded for that. Like that will be all I'll be ever grateful for, because it's all we talked about, believe, right? And then when we came out in that third period on the EHL side, we told ourselves, don't let us come back in here not a champion. Find a way to get it done. Believe in each other. We love each other. And my wife would tell you, I don't often say that to anyone outside my family. And I was preaching it all weekend. I love every single one of you. Let's do this together. And this was a team. This club was a team. And I'm excited where this organization is going, because with that standard now, there's no turning back.
Well deserved on everything. I know you're eager to give all the credit in the world to your players, but I know at least some of that falls on your shoulders, man. So congratulations on everything. Those guys deserved it. You deserved it. And looking forward to seeing what you put together the rest of the offseason. And I'll see you soon, Coach, but congratulations.
All right. Perfect, man. I appreciate it. All what you guys do, what everybody does. And I'm excited. This league is going places that others wish they were going to be here. So excited for the future here and excited for the 87s. And as I always say, right, it's the 87 way. So we'll go from there.
No doubt about it. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.